Hey guys, my name is Brandon and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you like what you see in here, you're more than welcome to hit the subscribe button so you stay notified every time I upload a new video. Okay, let's get straight on with today's video. Hey everyone and welcome back to Brandon. So in today's video I'm going to be doing a review to the 12th and final episode of The Apprentice 2025. Now, I can't believe it's over. I can't believe we already have the winner announced. They've become Lord Sugar's new business partner. But I'm going to explain to you everything that happened in the final episode, and then you can kind of probably work out between yourselves who you think is going to become the business partner if you haven't already spoiled it for yourself, just kind of based on the pros and cons of both businesses. So, Dean and Anissa were the two finalists. I think both very strong, very reputable for the final. I think all the final 5 were good. I think all 18 were good. They all had their own little aspect. Some of them went out early. But, you know, everyone has that little skill or, you know, piece of something different to somebody else, basically. So everyone had that little thing that is just a little bit different to somebody else. But obviously, you know, one little screw up in a task means that you're out, basically. So, yeah, Dean and Anissa both had a bit of a rocky ride, but both did very well to get to the final. They received a phone call at 5 AM on their phone, saying that they were to meet Lord Sugar and Baroness Brady and Tim at the Honourable Society of Lincoln's Inn. And apparently this has been a training ground for Britain's barristers since 1822, so obviously a very important building in terms of the history of the UK. Dean basically explained that the experience has completely broken him, and it's now made him a better person, basically, and he's now here for his wife and kids, and that's who that's who will benefit from this, obviously, if he wins the investment. And for Anissa, she said that she came into the process confident in order that she was going to be able to win. She's made lots of mistakes throughout the process, but she has absolutely no regrets. And she said that if she was to win, it would change her life and everything around her. So I guess for both of them, £250,000 injected into your business is a lot of money, and it can change your life. And I think that's the thing. You put in 250,000, you could be turning over millions per year. So yeah, apparently this Society of Lincoln's Inn is one of the 4 inns of court. It has produced some of the finest legal minds, and that's what Lord Sugar said that they needed to do in order to win the investment. They needed to put on their best legal head and provide that business plan that, you know, will ultimately change their life and become Lord Sugar's 19th business partner. So yeah, both Anissa and Dean flipped a coin. I think it was Anissa, and she won the toss, so they brought back 10 of the ex-candidates. So for Anissa's team, she ended up choosing Chisola, Amber Rose, Frederick, Emma and Malika, so pretty much an all-girl team with Frederick. And then for Dean, he was able to pick Liam, Jordan, Mia, Johnny and Nadia. Nadia was chosen last, so he said, I'm going to go best till last. So I think what Lord Sugar basically summarised for the both of them is, for Anissa, whether her business was actually profitable, and then for Dean, whether his business was actually scalable. So I think that's the thing. For Anissa, she's able to grow, but is it bringing in enough money? And for Dean, he knows there's going to be profit, but are they going to be able to grow the business? So pros and cons for the both companies there. So we'll start with Anissa. So for Anissa's team, Amber Rose said that she was excited to try the pizza, and Anissa explained her idea that she obviously wanted to expand through the dark kitchen method. So instead of having, you know, all these different restaurants and all these different sites, just to be able to cook all these pizzas in a little dark kitchen at the back of a restaurant, save costs. You're using, you know, a restaurant that your dad already owns, so she might have to pay him a little bit of money to be able to use the site, for example, but then all she's having to do is get the ingredients, which are freshly done by a professional, put the pieces together and, you know, flog them for 15 quid or however much she's selling them for. And she also explained that she needs to be able to stand out in this market, do something different, do something innovative, so she needs to just make everything good, basically. Chisola said that the pizza tastes good, and I think that throughout this whole meeting, when she was kind of given all this information about what she wanted, they were all just sitting there munching on the pizza. I don't think they were really listening to what she was saying. I think they were just enjoying the pizza. So yeah, I think that was step 1. You like the product, then you know, your customers are sold. In terms of the branding team, she decided to put herself, Chisola and Emma on the branding team. And for the sub-team, it was to be Amber Rose as sub-team leader with Malika and Fred. So they would be going to create the video, the editing and, you know, things like that. Anissa basically gave them some feedback saying for the advert they need to focus on the takeaway aspect. It's not a restaurant, it is purely a place where people can order food and it be delivered to them. and potentially, you know, have the film or the advert set in somebody's house, make it that little bit more personable. And she said to the camera that she hopes Amber Rose, Frederick and Malika get on board with her vision. Chizola said that she's so happy that Anissa was in the final and now we need to go and get that investment for her. And then obviously throughout the video, Fred potentially thought that they could have 2 people at a football match, ordering or wanting to order 2 different meals and kind of saying, oh, I can't really have Indian and I can't really have pizza together, when actually that's kind of what Anissa's product is. It's Indian style foods and toppings on a pizza, which is really smart. It's kind of mixing those 2 cuisines together, especially for those people that are fussy eaters, get the best of both worlds then. So yeah, that was a good way to bring that out in the video in terms of the uniqueness. Yeah, her and Malika and Frederick, they basically, yeah, they were all working on the video. Amber Rose was the director, and Amber Rose said that, you know, it's bringing the best 2 teams together, bringing the 2 best teams together. So that's kind of like what football is, you know, team 1, team 2, and then the food 1 and food 2. Fred said that they wanted the video to be fun, and that British people enjoy football, curry and pizza, so it's 3 things that people love in the UK, so it should be an easy sell. Anissa was having a conversation with Emma and Chizola, saying that they needed to be clear about the branding straight away. So firstly, come up with a brand name. So Chizola was thinking Spice and Slice, Emma was thinking Slice of India or Fusion Spice, and Tim basically questioned that Anissa was basically shutting down all of her ideas. So I know it has to be unique, and I know it has to be specific, but I think Anissa at this point was very much like, I need to be the one that comes up with a brand name, and all these names that are being suggested are great, but I just can't agree with any of those. And Anissa decided in the end to go with Zal pizza. So I think Zal is a kind of Indian-based or Bangladeshi kind of topping. So she, for the logo, ended up creating some Indian pattern, like a flower kind of floral pattern with a yellow box and a purple border. Chizola said it looked like a flower, and Emma basically, well, I think Anissa said, you know, with a lot of like Indian and Bangladeshi type pizzas, they always have a temple on it, and Emma said, well, actually, why don't we just add that on the box? It kind of gives it something, otherwise the box is too empty. So Anissa was like, yeah, go on then, chuck a temple on. And obviously towards the end, they were running out of time. Chizola said that the logo is quite bland, it's nothing exciting, but again, you know, with that amazing taste of the pizza and that boring version of the logo, how will the 2 of those blend together? And then obviously for Dean, again, his business meeting with his team were him basically summarising what Lord Sugar had said to him, that he needed to be able to prove to Lord Sugar how he can scale up. He needed engineers, vans, tools, the whole idea of getting rid of hot air from the outside and bringing that cool air in. Your house is hot, you have one of those machine things, or you have an air conditioning unit, it cools your flat down, gets rid of all the hot stuff and brings in all the cold stuff basically. And he just said, no, air conditioning is not the most sexy thing, but he's here to make air conditioning sexy. So his words, not mine. He put Nadia, Liam and Mia on the sub-team. They were to create the TV advert with Liam in charge, which again, from his previous track record in the process, maybe shouldn't have been director, but hindsight is a beautiful thing, unfortunately. And Dean basically explained to the 3 of them that for the video he needed to, they basically needed to include as many tips, as many tricks and as many facts about the air conditioning as possible. So I did manage to write a few down. He basically said air conditioning is not luxury, it's now something that is an essential. If people are hot, they want to cool down quickly. It's easier to warm up than it is to cool down. Like if you're freezing, put a jacket on. If you're hot, you could take all your clothes off and you would still be hot. So yeah, he said air conditioning is not a luxury, it's an essential. It's cheaper, it's quicker to cool a room. With Mia basically saying that's a lot of information to include in the video. They need to make sure that they hit the brief. He said they also needed to be strategic, basically. Liam also kind of went along with the fact that air conditioning can also heat up homes, but didn't realise that was more of a secondary use. So air conditioning is to cool down places, to heat it up is kind of a secondary use. It's not its main thing. So for the video, Liam obviously got a bit sidetracked and decided to advertise aircon as if it was something that heated up homes as its main primary focus. He had kind of a long storyline with lots of different weird vocabulary and dialogue and things like that. And Nadia jumped in and said, yeah, that whole script just sounds a bit boring. And Liam was like, no, you've got to trust me on this one. And she said, you get 10 seconds to be able to impress people and to get people engaged. And if they're not interested, they will just turn over to a different channel. Liam also said to the girls that they needed to get as much information as they could about Air and also his company. And yeah, obviously it was over to Dean and Jordan and Johnny to create their logo and branding. So Dean said he's been thinking about this for years, so he decided to go for the name Domestical, so domestic and then call, so domestic properties and calling them down, so a very smart, interesting name there. And Jordan questioned whether he was only doing domestic homes, nothing commercial, because obviously then you've lost 2/3 of that market. And yeah, he just basically said, yeah, I know where the focus is, I'm focusing on domestic, basically. So yeah, Johnny and Jordan, not really, I wouldn't say not pleased, but obviously not unsupportive, but just didn't support his idea of cutting out half of the market, basically. Obviously, back over to Liam and the directing. So he had Mia in bed, and she obviously was freezing. So obviously Nadia's come in, talking about aircon, how, you know, they can heat the whole room up. And Karen basically said that, you know, air conditioning as a secondary is to warm you up, but that's its secondary feature. So yeah, hopefully they were going to get a call from Dean or, you know, the other team to kind of see what they were doing with their video, and in fact they did. So yeah, with the rest of Dean's team, so Jordan was obviously helping Dean with his kind of 3D creation. So kind of when you walk into the building, how do you want it to look for this showroom that Dean's going to be able to create. So Jordan was kind of suggesting lots of different ideas because he's the 3D design expert, so he had things like display units, little QR code, almost like you're at a gallery to kind of find out more information about something, and then a little machine that said get a quote. So if you don't know what you're looking for, or you know what you're looking for but you don't know how much it is, click the machine and it should tell you the price for the job. Dean explained that he's taken his business to the next level and he's expanding, and he's not used to the whole virtual world, which is why he's got Jordan on his team. Dean said it looks really good in terms of the logo and the branding. Nadia said it just looks like any other domestic household or plumbing company. And Dean said, you know, it links to air conditioning, with Mia saying that it didn't really catch her eye. So mixed vibes there. So some of them liked it, some of them didn't. Dean loved it and the rest of them thought it was a little bit simple. Liam explained that he liked the QR code aspect, that it's class. And then for the advert, Dean said, yeah, he was obviously a bit worried about the advert, but he's happy that they managed to change the idea from the whole idea of heating to cooling. And Liam said, yeah, they wanted to make an educational piece on heating. And yeah, that's when Dean said, yeah, thankfully we changed that. Jordan explained that he wasn't really sure what to expect from the video that was created, but he has high hopes in Liam. And in terms of the pitch, Mia was helping Dean, and so was Jordan, to kind of prepare him to be like, because he's never done a public speak before, so I think they were just basically trying to advise him how he can sell himself as best as possible. And then obviously that meant Mia and Johnny switched teams, so Johnny was off the pitch and Mia was on. So Mia explained, don't be too informal. Jordan explained to just be confident. Mia added to just sell himself effortlessly, which she knows he can absolutely do. And to kind of use the line, for example, like, I'm most passionate about air conditioning, grateful for the team that I've got, la la la, kind of big everyone up, and then kind of go on to now what you can achieve for the company. And then in terms of the little video, Johnny just said it was a little bit wooden and a little bit cringy to watch. So that was obviously when Liam was both director and in the video. So yeah, a bit awkward, but you know, it doesn't matter. It promoted the air conditioning, you saw it pop up on the screen, and they changed the idea from hot to cold, so I think that was a pro in itself. For Amber Rose, for Anissa's team, so she obviously was the director again, so Fred and Malika at the football pitch, and Amber Rose kept making them do takes and takes and takes again, because either Malika was a bit slow to get her line out, or she just didn't seem as enthusiastic as Fred was, and she just, on the final take, she was just like, right, let's do that again, Malika, more energy. So it's almost like she knows what she wanted for the video, but yeah, she didn't quite get it. I'm surprised she didn't just say, you know what, you direct and I'll be in the video, but then I don't think she'd want to be told what to do, so then that's why she directed and just let Malika get in the video. Yeah, so Amber Rose, no, not Amber Rose, Anissa was in the kitchen, and she was obviously making her kind of Indian style pizza. So for this particular one, she was making some sort of chana masala chickpea pizza. So yeah, she used chana masala, which is an Indian dish, chickpeas, to obviously have some sort of vegetarian or vegan curry. She explained it could be a winning combination, it's special, it's unique, it's adventurous. with Chizola basically saying she's never tasted a taste like this before, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, and you know, having a curry on a pizza is quite interesting. And then obviously for Amber Rose and her video, she said there's a lot of footage and hopefully they can create a good video out of that the following day. So when it came to the little inner briefings of the teams, Frederick said that having the Taj Mahal on the pizza box was a little bit random, with Anissa saying it's just hopefully given that Indian feel. She said with the actual pizza, there was a dal base with chana chat, which is obviously the chickpeas. Amber Rose said it tasted really nice. Malika said it tasted great and that she would host this at her dinner party and that would elevate that even better. And then obviously again a little change of teams. So Frederick was helping Anissa with the pitch, and then Emma ended up on the editing with Amber Rose. So yeah, Emma basically said we can help by editing the video. You know, by editing a video well, we can promote Anissa's business as best as we can. Chizola obviously was kind of briefing Anissa, saying that maybe she could start off her pitch by telling them about her little story. And then when it came to the editing, so it's kind of Emma and Amber Rose. I think it was more Amber Rose because this is her department. She's in video editing or the video world or whatever. So Emma every so often was saying, oh, we can get rid of this, we can add this. So for example, getting rid of the drone shot at the beginning. But actually Amber Rose said, let's keep that so you can kind of set the scene. You see the drone coming in, you can see that they're at a football stadium, then just boom, they're at a football stadium. Yeah, Amber Rose said that she was on director duty and, you know, she was shutting down different ideas about, you know, slow this clip down and all of this. And she basically said to the camera, sometimes you need to have tunnel vision. She put herself forward to do the voiceover as well. And then for the actual pictures themselves, they were to be meeting Lord Sugar and all of the different business partners from both the aircon and the pizza industries at One Marylebone for their final pitch of the business. Anissa explained that some of the big players were here, so Domino's, Papa John's, some of their representatives, and she basically explained that her company was an Indian-inspired pizza delivered to you. Anissa explained to her team that the football ground was a little bit random. Amber Rose explained that they tried to tie it in as much as possible. Anissa said that she was, you know, calm and confident. It would mean the world to her in order to secure the investment. She's had a family-run Indian business restaurant for 47 years. Some of her, you know, key items or key sellers are the chicken tikka korma pizza, and obviously her now new recipe, which is the chickpeas and dal base. She said that she's able to scale with obviously less overhead costs. She wants to have 10 new dark kitchens and be the pioneer for Indian pizza. So she had somebody from Pizza Hut ask how she's going to be able to scale, have good quality pizzas, and then franchise in the future. So kind of focus on what she's got as of now, and then once that starts doing well and, you know, she does something that other companies can't do, then expand in the future. Chef Romy questioned whether it was a crowded market, and Anissa said that she'll be constantly thinking of new ideas, new pizzas, and, you know, specials, whether that be a weekly special or monthly special of the different type of pizzas. So instead of just sticking with one thing and just doing that, just doing as many different things as possible, and, you know, thinking of all these different special deals, offers, discounts, gift cards, you know, whatever, like just something to bring people in, get them that little freebie, and then they actually start paying the full price. Yeah, Anissa said that she has been happy to be able to represent her business. Yeah, so that was basically that. And then when they summarised with Lord Sugar basically just said, delivery companies, are they important for something like Anissa's business? And some of the other business partners basically said she's trying to create something unique, but she needs to be able to sell the brand. And she said things like this, Indian pizza has been done before. So one of the female workers, I think she works at Papa John's or something, she said that they've just released an Indian style brand. So the whole Indian pizza thing has been done before. They had a tandoori range, and it's their highest performing pizza. So there's definitely a gap in the market for it. It's just, you know, whether she's going to be able to compete with that. And then for Dean's final pitch, so yeah, Liam helped him, basically saying, you know, basically helping turn your house into a home. For the video, Nadia sang the little lyric at the end, domestical, so that was quite catchy. Dean said he was happy with the video, and at the beginning of his pitch, he basically said, I am daddy cool. He said he knew one day he'd have his own AC company. His wife hates him working at home, and obviously when he orders his bulk aircon units, she's the one that has to drag them through the house. So, you know, adding a little bit of comedy and a bit of humour here. He also gave them the 3D walkthrough, which obviously Jordan helped with, in terms of the unit testing and, you know, how it would all look in your house. where basically you scan a QR code and it kind of puts that aircon unit on the wall so you can see what it looks like. And right at the end of his pitch, you know, they're supposed to do a Q&A, he just walked off the stage, completely forgot, walked back on, everyone had a little giggle, and he was like, oh, completely forgot about the Q&A. So clearly a cheeky chappy, probably was very nervous, but yeah, he played that very well, and he looked quite good in a suit as well. And then, yeah, so there was a representative from Dyson asking about whether there's a skill shortage in the industry. He said what he does is he brings on apprentices young. He's the best at what he does, so if he can train them up to his ability, then there's no reason that they cannot work for him full time. Lord Sugar asked him what the price would be to install a aircon unit into his bedroom, and Dean said, well, for you, Lord Sugar, absolutely free. And then Lord Sugar replied back saying, well, I'm not going to hire you if you're giving away things for free. So yeah, kind of a little bit of banter backwards and forwards there. Obviously Dean doing Lord Sugar a deal, and then Lord Sugar saying, well, actually, if you're giving it to me for free, friends or not friends, like, you should be charging for everything you do. And then again, the business partners were discussing with Lord Sugar saying the issue is the scalability and the fact that Dean wants to double his business in the next year. Somebody said that, you know, they might want 1 or 2 units installed, but it's not going to be repeat business for those people unless those air conditioning units die or, you know, need upgrading or need checking and things like that. There's no need for people to keep needing air conditioning units all the time. Lord Sugar also said that there's occasional heat waves, and usually when it's tough to sleep, people want to be called now, so they will call out somebody who can fix them, the air conditioning units and things like that. And that, yeah, it's a good product and people usually want that tomorrow. Lord Sugar, Dean basically just said hopefully he's done enough for Lord Sugar. And yeah, when it came to the boardroom, so obviously it was just Anissa and Dean and the rest of the candidates that obviously got fired throughout the rest of the processes. So he basically thanked them for their time. Yeah, so yeah, basically Anissa said that she wanted to represent Bangladeshi culture, and Karen basically said that her outfit for the pitch was absolutely gorgeous. It was a lovely, lovely long, like, Indian style dress. Lord Sugar asked Anissa whether her team delivered, so play on words with the pizza industry, and she said yes. She said she wants to have culture in the name of the business, and it basically says what the pizza is about. She said that Chana Masala is her #1 pizza at the moment, so she knows there's a gap in the market for Indian style pizza. It was Fred's idea to come up with a football ground and, you know, have these 2 favourite types of foods fused together. And yeah, in terms of their feedback on Anissa, Frederick said that, you know, Anissa's been the standout candidate in the process. Chizola said that she stood out every week and she's just incredible. Yeah, Lord Sugar said that he's looking to make more than 20 or 30,000 pounds of profit every year. He's looking for something that can be making millions. Anissa said that the pizzas that she creates taste great. She's done it all herself. She said that she can make it a big thing, and obviously she relies on those delivery services in order to get those pizzas out to the customers. So for example, on Uber Eats 4.7, on Just Eat 4.8 stars out of 5. And then for Dean, Lord Sugar questioned Dean that he was walking up and down the stage. I don't know what was all that about. Dean said he was basically quite nervous. I'm presuming that was one of the tips that the others gave him in terms of, you know, to be a bit more confident, just pounce up and down the stage. And he's also said that he's never done a presentation or any sort of pitch before. So the fact that his first pitch was about himself and his own business, that was great within himself. So yeah, very confident looking, and yeah, very well done basically. Lord Sugar explained that Liam shouldn't be taking up acting in terms of any future goals. Obviously him directing the advert and then also being in the advert. And yeah, Dean basically said that he felt like you know, the video showcased the installing of calling throughout your home. And yeah, I think they kind of had a little bit of a discussion about the fact that the video was going to be about hotting a room up, and then they decided to change it to cooling the room down, with that heat thing being a secondary feature. Again, they asked Dean's team about Dean throughout the process. Liam said he's a fantastic bloke, he wears his heart on his sleeves. Mia basically said he is what he is and there's no smoke and mirrors, so he doesn't hide behind anything, he's just who he says he is, he just gets on with things, and that's that. And Lord Sugar basically questioned that he's already making money, and now if he has double the amount of vans, is he going to get double the amount of profit back? Dean basically said it would allow him to work with, to deal with that workload a little bit more. More vans, more apprentices. He had 24 guys that were working for him at his previous place, so he knows he can manage a team of people. And Lord Sugar also asked whether he was just going to be focusing on the residential market, and he said yeah, because most and 90% of his jobs are domestic jobs for his current clients. So again, that's definitely something he could continue to work on and then expand later on. You know, you don't have to just stick to your domestic. Do your domestic if that's doing good, and then in the future maybe reach out to other companies and businesses and education places that might need aircon as well. But yeah, if domestic is your selling point and domestic is your main target audience, stick with that, and then just think about if you were going to branch out, how would you go about doing that. So the rest of the candidates were asked to leave. Anissa and Dean sat outside and they had one final discussion between Lord Sugar, Baroness Brady and Tim to discuss who was going to be the business partner. So Lord Sugar said that both of the candidates were great. Tim said that for Anissa, she's a wonderful candidate, she's articulate, but is the company big enough in order to be able to make that money? And then Karen said about Dean that he doesn't know how to scale up, and he actually lacks confidence, with Lord Sugar saying that there's great potential in him. And Karen said that, you know, with Dean, he has a business that he's able to scale up, whereas with Anissa, you're investing in her, which will obviously therefore help the business grow as well. So he brought Anissa and Dean back in, spoke to Anissa first, and basically just said, is your business unique, and is it not just easy enough for other people to copy? And she said that she wouldn't trust any other companies to create authentic Indian pizzas if they don't have people from that background creating those pizzas. So for example, something like Papa John's, yes, they're a pizza company, yes, they're making Indian pizzas, but unless they have Indian, Bangladeshi people in the kitchen, it's not authentic. And she said that's why her business stands out, because she is part of that culture and she knows exactly how to make those pizzas. Lord Sugar also said that apparently the whole business plan has been done before, and that's obviously, that was what she fought back with, saying that yeah, it's just that whole feeling of authenticity. She said that with the dark kitchen, obviously the costs are lower, like she mentioned before, and all the ingredients are already cooked professionally beforehand, so all you have to do is just put them on the base, however you prepare it, put it in the oven, and you know, basically that's all done. And then he basically said, well, actually, then he said, what would you need then? And she basically just said a few new kitchens, her profit margins are high, 10 kitchens, she'd end up making £500,000 profit within the next 5 years. She also said that with Lord Sugar's guidance, there's a chance for her to grow big. She's a top-rated pizza business in her area. She's proved herself in the process. She's an all-round candidate, confident within her business, and the margins are high. And then for Karen, not for Karen, and then for Dean, he said within 11 months, he can make £461,000 to £160,000 of profit, which completely puts to shame what Anissa can make. So she can make £500,000 but over 5 years, whereas he can make £461,000 within the next year. So that within itself, I would go with him. But then you're investing in her as a person, and both of them have their strengths. With Dean, he said he would have some sort of base or some sort of office. An extra 2 vans, an extra 2 engineer apprentices would get him off of having to drive in the vans. He can focus more on the operations, actually going to the jobs and helping people with whatever they need to do professionally. He said his business is future-proof. There's a lot more hotter summers, and you know, people want to save on their bills, and he explained he's been organic with his company since day one. He also explained that he's had a lot of business from different review websites, and he said he knows the industry like the back of his hand. He has a good reputation, customers are waiting for him, what you see is what you get, and he will always take steps to be where he wants to be. So Lord Sugar summarised very quickly and said, you know, I'm confident with Dean, you know, how you've been in the process, and the fact that you're confident within the market. Everybody has to, you know, eat. So being able to spend £10 to £12 on a pizza is not too expensive. Most people should be able to afford that. And then he kind of looked at Dean and said, Dean, you are going to be my business partner. With Dean saying, this is all what we've worked hard for. He got a little bit teary, and he just said, I can't believe I've just won the Apprentice. The kids are going to be over the moon, can't wait to tell them, and I presume they're going to be the most popular kids at school when they go back to school on Monday. So yeah, that is it for The Apprentice. It is over. We found out, like I said, our final 2, Anissa and Dean. So it was pizza versus air conditioning won. So yeah, he basically blew her into second place. So yeah, very well done to Dean. I think both business plans and both businesses were good. I think, you know, like Lord Sugar said, everyone has to eat. So having a you know, authentic Indian Bangladeshi style pizza business mixes two different cuisines together and, you know, brings that food that people enjoy, that culture, that, you know, something different to the town. Whereas with air conditioning, it is something that not everyone needs. Not, again, most people, there are some people that don't get cold, there are some people that don't get hot, there are some people that are just normal, so they're not going to need an air conditioning unit. But for those people that get very warm very quickly, they just need something that just, you know, cools their room down quickly. So yeah, rather than opening a window, opening a door, just get a unit, plonk it on a little bit, and then it will just cool the room down. So that is it, everyone. I do hope you enjoyed my review. I think, yeah, Dean was a fantastic winner. Anissa was great being in second. You had Jordan, Chizola and Amber Rose third, fourth and fifth, and then everyone else came wherever. But yeah, if you did enjoy my review, if you did enjoy the series, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Who did you want to see win? Were you kind of following anybody in particular? Was there anybody you thought, oh, you know, that person's a front runner, they're definitely going to get to the final? Or were you just kind of, you know, floating through, like myself, just had your few favourites, and then yeah, just kind of see how it all played out. So yeah, if you did enjoy, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And until my next review, thank you for watching and goodbye.